Something's going down in Chicago that's got the whole organization on high alert. A veteran who just got here 12 days ago is flipping everything we thought we knew about this defense. Meanwhile, there's a problem nobody wants to talk about that could cost us big time this Sunday in Minnesota. And hold up, because what's about to happen with one of our rookies could completely change Caleb Williams' offense. 3 stories that are going to shape the rest of our season, and I'm going to tell you exactly why each one is more important than you think. If you bounce now, you're going to regret it, because what's coming could be the difference between playoffs or sitting at home again. Stick around till the end, because I need to know what you think about what's happening at Hallis Hall. Look, I'm going to say something a lot of folks don't want to admit, but it's the straight-up truth. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has made more of an impact in 12 days than some guys do in an entire season. 12 tackles, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and the kind of juice this unit was starving for. But here's the question every Bears fan should be asking. What the hell are we going to do when Kyler Gordon comes back? Let me remind y'all, when healthy, Kyler Gordon is one of the best slot corners in the entire NFL. The dude can stick with the fastest receivers, bang with tight ends, and blitz off the edge like few others in the league. So I ask you, how the hell do you take C.J. Gardner-Johnson off the field after what we've seen? I believe, and hear me out, I believe Dennis Allen is smart enough to figure out a way to keep both of them on the field at the same time. And I'm telling you right now, if Allen doesn't find a way to keep Gardner-Johnson in a meaningful role when Gordon returns, we're making a massive mistake. Just look at the numbers, folks. In 79 career games, Gardner-Johnson has 18 picks, 51 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, 7 sacks, 25 tackles for loss, and 334 total tackles. Those aren't average numbers. That's elite playmaker production. And here's the kicker, Gardner-Johnson and Gordon have similar profiles. Both can play the slot, both can blitz, both are willing and capable tacklers. So why not use that versatility to our advantage? I'm telling you right now, Allen should be drawing up specific packages with both of them on the field. Picture a dime package with Tariq Stevenson outside, Gordon sliding outside too because he's strong enough in coverage, and Gardner-Johnson in the slot where he can pass off a receiver to the linebackers or blitz like a missile. Or better yet, imagine a package where you pull T.J. Edwards and drop Gordon in as a pseudo-linebacker, covering the middle of the field but bringing a unique blitz threat. Nazhan Wright stays outside locking down one side, especially on obvious passing downs. Do you realize the nightmare that creates for opposing offensive coordinators? Because I do. You've got Gordon, Brisker, Gardner-Johnson, and Edmonds, all capable of blitzing from different angles, all able to cover, all willing to throw their shoulder into the run game. But here's the real issue, and this is what's got me worried. Some fans are already calling for Gardner-Johnson to get extended. And look, I get the hype, I really do. The guy's been electric, but we also gotta be real about his track record. Gardner-Johnson had trouble fitting in at Philly, Detroit, and most recently Houston. His personality, fairly or not, has been questioned. So I ask you, are we sure this isn't just a honeymoon phase? Are we sure he can keep this level and this attitude all season and beyond? I think the answer is, wait, let him play out the rest of the season. See how he handles things when they get tough, because trust me, they will. See how he meshes with Gordon when he's back. See if he can keep producing. Because signing a vet hungry to prove himself on a short-term deal is one thing. Committing long-term to a guy who's bounced around is a whole different story. And here's what's really on my mind, Jalen Johnson's injury. Our number 1 corner has basically been out all season after core muscle surgery. He's not expected back until late, if at all. Then you've got Terrell Smith out for the year with a torn patellar tendon, Zoff Frazier out with a personal issue. You need all the help you can get. But I'll say this, when everyone's healthy next year, where does Gardner-Johnson fit? Is it worth paying serious money to a guy who might be your 4th or 5th corner? These are the tough questions Ryan Poles is going to have to answer in the coming months. And I think the right answer is, it depends on how the season ends. If Gardner-Johnson helps get us to the playoffs, if he keeps producing, if he proves he can coexist with Gordon and the rest of the secondary, then yeah, you absolutely consider extending him. But if we start seeing the same issues that popped up in Houston, Detroit, Philly, then maybe it's best to let him walk and thank him for what he gave us. Because at the end of the day, this is a business. And in this business, you can't afford to pay big money to guys who won't be on the field or who might stir up the locker room. Now let me talk about something that's got me genuinely worried and should have every Bears fan concerned. our absolute inability to stop mobile quarterbacks. Jackson Dart ran 6 times for 66 yards against us on Sunday. 6 times. And if it wasn't for C.J. Gardner-Johnson knocking the ball loose and Austin Booker hitting him from behind and giving him a concussion, that kid probably would have torched us completely. And here's what's really scary. Only one team in the entire NFL has given up more rushing yards to quarterbacks than we have this season. We've allowed 252 yards. You know who's worse? The Giants. The same Giants who just fired their coach after Sunday's game. That should tell you everything you need to know. So I ask you, what the hell are we going to do Sunday when we face J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota? That kid ran for 48 yards on 5 carries last week, a career high. And if you think he didn't see what Dart did to us, you're out of your mind. This is a copycat league. What almost worked to beat us one week is going to get copied the next. And McCarthy's got the wheels to exploit the exact same weakness Dart did. But here's the real problem, and this is what's got me seriously worried. We don't have the pieces to fix it. Dayo Odeyingbo's out for the year. Shamar Turner's out for the year. Dominique Robinson's out with a high ankle sprain. And Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the guy we brought in at the trade deadline, still isn't up to speed with the scheme. So Dennis Allen's out here plugging holes with what he's got. He moved Chris Williams, a 302-pound defensive tackle, out to edge for 14 snaps against the Giants. And you know what? Williams had the 4th best run defense grade on the team per PFF. But that shouldn't even be necessary. He moved Grady Jarrett from the B-gap to over the tackle for 3 snaps. Moved Jervin Dexter from the A or B-gap to over the tackle for 6 snaps. But neither had a particularly good day, according to PFF. And here's what really bugs me. The game plan worked fine against the running backs. The Giants' backs ran 22 times for 91 yards. That's manageable. That's acceptable. But Dart killed us with his legs. Ben Johnson admitted it after the game. He said, and I quote, "We felt like we could have adjusted better to some of those design QB runs." Translation, we got caught off guard. We weren't ready. And that can't happen again. Because I'm telling you right now, if we can't stop Jackson Dart, or rookie QB for the Giants, how the hell are we going to stop J.J. McCarthy? How are we going to stop Josh Allen when we face him? How are we going to stop any quarterback with legs in this league? And here's what's got me thinking long term. We're not getting anyone back at defensive end except maybe Robinson eventually. So unless Tryon-Shoyinka makes a huge leap, unless Booker takes a big step forward, Allen's going to have to keep using Williams on the edge. And you know what that means? It means we're sacrificing our interior pressure to try and contain the edge. It means we're weakening one part of our defense to patch up another. And in this league, good offensive coordinators are going to find that weak spot and exploit it without mercy. So I ask you, what's more important? Stopping the run up the middle or containing the edge? Because with the personnel we've got right now, we can't do both effectively. I think the answer depends on the opponent. Against a team like Minnesota with McCarthy, you've got to prioritize edge containment. You've got to make sure that quarterback can't escape the pocket and make plays with his legs. But against a team with an elite running back, you've got to focus on shutting down the middle. It's an impossible balancing act with the roster we've got. And that's what's got me worried. Because no matter how good Dennis Allen is as a defensive coordinator, and trust me, he's damn good, he can't work miracles with second and third string guys. And here's the million-dollar question. Why didn't Ryan Poles do more at the trade deadline to shore up this position? We brought in Tryon-Shoyinka, and that's fine, but clearly it's not enough. Why didn't we go after a more established defensive end? Why didn't we make a more aggressive move? I'll tell you this, either Poles thought we had enough, or there weren't better options out there, or he didn't want to give up more draft capital. And honestly, I don't know which of those worries me more. Because if he thought we had enough, he was clearly wrong. If there weren't better options, that says a lot about the state of the league. And if he didn't want to give up more picks, then he's betting we can survive with what we've got. And I ask you, is that a bet we're willing to make? Are we willing to risk our season on the hope that Tryon-Shoyinka gets up to speed fast, that Robinson comes back soon and healthy, that Booker takes a leap? Because I think that's a risky bet. And if it goes south, if McCarthy torches us Sunday, if we keep getting gashed by mobile QBs the rest of the season, then that decision not to be more aggressive at the deadline is gonna get roasted. Now let me talk about something that should have every Bears fan fired up. The future of our offense is starting to take shape, and it's looking way brighter than most folks thought just a few weeks ago. Let's start with Luther Burden. This kid, our second-round pick, has flashed serious potential through the first half of the season. And Ben Johnson just hinted that he's about to unleash him fully in Caleb Williams' offense. Johnson said, and this is key, you've started to see his snap count slowly go up. He's a guy who's starting to get more targets. And then he added something that's got me hyped. There's a strong case to be made that we need to get him the ball more often. Did you hear that? The head coach is basically saying they need to feed Burden more. And I'm telling you, it's about time. Because look at what he did against the Cowboys. 3 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. That's the only touchdown of his career so far, but it shows the kind of explosiveness he brings. It shows the kind of player he can be when he gets chances. And here's what really gets me excited. Johnson mentioned it's all about trust. Trust between the coaches and the player. Trust between the quarterback and the receiver. And that trust is building. So I ask you, what does this mean for our offense? Because if Burden is about to get a bigger role, that completely changes the dynamic of our receiver group. I think it means a few things. First, it means Johnson has seen enough in practice and limited game reps to believe Burden can handle more responsibility. Second, it probably means they've seen some issues with other receivers that need to be addressed. And third, it means they're actively looking for ways to give Caleb Williams more weapons. And speaking of weapons, let's talk about DeAndre Swift. Because if you had told me before the Giants game that Swift would get 13 carries for 80 yards while Tyrone Menengai only got 7 carries for 28, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But that's exactly what happened. And Swift didn't just put up good numbers, he was one of our best offensive players. He churned up tough yards, gave the offense a spark when we were down 17-7 midway through the third quarter. And here's what really impressed me, Swift has been playing lights out since the bye week. The only concern I had was that he was listed as questionable with a groin injury and missed Friday's practice for personal reasons. But he came out and balled. Now, some haters on Twitter found one play where Swift chose a questionable cutback lane and didn't hit the hole the O-line opened up. They called it a meme even though he led the team with nearly 100 yards from scrimmage. And I'll say this, those are the same folks who were probably calling for Swift to be cut a few weeks ago. The same folks who are never happy no matter what happens. My only real criticism of Swift's performance was his drop on 4th and short with the Bears driving near the red zone. But to be fair, he wasn't the only one. Our receivers couldn't catch a cold in those chilly conditions. They had 5 drops on the day, maybe more depending on how you count them. But here's the key, Johnson said the team is going to ride the hot hand at running back moving forward. And Swift clearly had the hot hand against the Giants. So I ask you, does this mean Swift has reclaimed the starting job? Or are we still going to see a committee approach? I think we'll still see a committee, but with Swift getting more touches when he's rolling. Because look, Menengai had that monster 176-yard game against Cincinnati. It's hard to believe that was just a fluke. He also had some solid runs against New York, for yards per carry would have felt like a gift before the bye. But Swift showed he's not going quietly. And that's exactly what you want in a running back room. You want competition. You want guys pushing each other to be better. And here's what really excites me about the future of this offense. If Burden is about to take on a bigger role, if Swift has found his groove again, if Caleb Williams keeps developing the way he has, this offense could be something special in the second half of the season. Because think about this, Williams is on pace to become the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears franchise history. That's historic. That's something we've never seen in Chicago. And a huge part of that is Joe Thuney. ESPN named Thuney the best player on the Bears roster not named Caleb Williams. And they're right. Thuney has been a rock for our offensive line. The stability he brings made the transition at left tackle in Week 6 pretty smooth. He's also helped protect Williams better. Caleb went 2 straight games without taking a sack and has only been sacked 14 times all season. Through the first 8 games, Thuney played every offensive snap, 533 total, while allowing just 1 QB hit and 0 sacks. Pro Football Focus ranks his 7 pressures allowed as the 10th fewest in the league. So when you put all this together, Thuney locking down the blind side, Swift getting back in rhythm, Burden about to break out, Williams growing into an elite quarterback, you start to see the potential of this offense. And I'm telling you, if this offense can stay healthy, if they keep developing, if Johnson keeps finding ways to put his playmakers in position to succeed, the sky's the limit. Because look at what we did against the Giants. We were down 17-7 midway through the third quarter. The game felt lost. And then Williams put on the cape and brought us back. That's what great quarterbacks do. That's what franchise quarterbacks do. And Williams is showing every week that he's exactly that kind of guy. So I ask you, are you ready for what's coming? Because I think the best is yet to come. I think this offense is just scratching the surface of what it can be. And I think when it all clicks, when Burden is fully integrated, when Swift is consistently producing, when Williams has his full toolbox, we're gonna see something special. Look, Bears fans, let me tell you something. We just broke down 3 situations that are gonna define the rest of our season. The Gardner-Johnson and Gordon dilemma, our struggles against mobile quarterbacks, and the bright future of our offense with Burden and Swift. So I ask you, should we extend CJ Gardner-Johnson now, or wait until the end of the season to see if he can keep up this level of play and coexist with Gordon? And about our defense, are you worried about our inability to stop mobile quarterbacks, especially with J.J. McCarthy waiting for us Sunday in Minnesota? And finally, do you think Luther Burden is ready for an expanded role, or should we keep bringing him along slowly? Because I'm telling you, these aren't easy questions. These are the questions that'll decide whether we make the playoffs or stay home again. And I need to know what you think. I need to know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Because this community, this Bears family, is stronger when we're together, when we're talking, when we're debating. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think about Gardner-Johnson. Tell me if you're worried about Minnesota. Tell me if you think Burden is ready. And if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Because tomorrow we've got more breaking news. Tomorrow we'll be right back here, breaking down every move, every decision, every play. This is your home for everything Bears. This is where the family comes together. This is where we talk about our team with passion, with knowledge, with our hearts on our sleeves. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like, share this with your Bears fan friends. Because together, we're stronger. Together, we're the voice of Chicago. Bear down, family. I'll see you in the next video.